The review scores for Stellar Blade are looking really impressive, guys. It's sitting at a nice 80 plus on Metacritic. Lots of various news outlets, including IGN, are praising this game. It's very promising to see this considering all of the attacks that this game had over the design of Eve, who's the protagonist in the game. We all know she was too sexy. We can't have over sexualized characters, no attractive females. It has to be all gender neutral, androgynous characters like in the Pokemon Go update and in Star Wars Outlaws, right? We can't enjoy any eye candy in these games, guys, because if not, that makes us all incels. And of course, as a result, you can't have anything good here, guys. You have to try to beat down these good scores, right? These woke journalists out there, they don't like that the game is getting praised. So they decided to cause some controversy. And the controversy is somehow, some way, they found racism in the game. Now, this is being claimed by the developers as something unintentional, but you can see in the screenshot, there was graffiti that says the word hard, and then next to it was a sign that has R. So it implies hard R, which is, I guess, if you really want to try to stretch, you could say that's a reference to a racist remark. The developer has since patched it. They're putting a day one patch in that will be there for launch date when this comes out on the 26th. And it's going to be replaced with graffiti that says crime. So there's no way that anybody can say, oh, it says hard R. Now, is this a big deal? No, it's really not when you look at the grand scheme of things. But we all know exactly why they did this. They did this because of this game is scoring great. They did it because it's getting these 80s, these 90s, these 9s out of 10, these 7 out of 10s. It's sitting pretty on Metacritic. And if the game doesn't fulfill any kind of agendas or any political commentary, they're going to trash it. They're going to hold it down. You saw last year with Hogwarts Legacy how that game was just completely buried. It didn't even get acknowledged for the Game of the Year awards. It got snubbed completely. Wasn't even nominated in anything, not even in the fan voting, which was kind of awkward. But that's the thing with these people in the gaming industry, these people that are part of consultation firms like Sweet Baby Inc. and GamerX and these unhinged liberal journalists that just want these woke messages in the games. They want to control the narrative. They want to push and force feed and shoehorn all this weird nonsense that we've been seeing in these games that we've been talking about on the channel. And when you take a look at a lot of their tweets and a lot of their Twitters, especially these journalists who write these editorials, just for example, just yesterday, Alyssa Mercante was writing a editorial about how Hades 2 is the sexy, I guess, game that we need, completely glossing over Stellar Blade. She was very vocal about Stellar Blade's characters being over-sexualized, but she's perfectly fine with Hades 2 having sexualized characters. It's like, I don't know, they want their cake and eat it too, and they get to pick and choose when stuff is allowed to be appropriate or not, instead of just giving it for everybody. And when it comes to Stellar Blade, this is a game that was honestly on my radar, not because of the obvious attractiveness with the protagonist, but because it seems like overall it's going to be a really well-done game, and it's exciting. I checked out the demo not too long ago, and I was like, all right, this is something that's up my sleeve. I hope it's good. I hope it's as good. And seeing these review scores is extremely positive for me. It's a big green flag, and I like it. And again, you see all the positivity coming out when the critic review scores are coming out. They have to find some way to slow it down or try to interrupt the process. And that's exactly what's going on when you see this story with the hard R controversy. Like, if you really want to sit down and think about it, this is nitpicking at this point. This is finding something like Jesus toast, where you think you see Jesus on a piece of toast and you're like, oh, that's this. And this to me seems like it was a coincidence that the word hard was next to a sign that was an R. I don't think it was kind of any kind of racist Easter egg that the developers meant to do. If you really think about the studio that's behind this game, I don't think they're racist in any way. You can't say that this was straight white men doing it to be bigots or anything like that. It doesn't exactly have any kind of malicious intent when you really look at it. To me, it was just an unfortunate coincidence. And you can see Twitter's actually responding to it. A lot of people are just in the realm of thinking that this is ridiculous, that, of course, the woke journalists have to find something to complain about and raise a stink about, to the point where the developers had to go ahead and make a day one patch removing this from the game. All right, I'm not an advocate for racism. Let's get that right there before somebody says that I was fine with a racist reference, because this clearly wasn't a intentional racist reference in the game. Is it funny? I think this is a very funny situation that it happened to be like that. Like, that's something that you would see like in an episode of like South Park or something like that. Like some kind of funny reference in some kind of silly slapstick type of movie or TV show. But to be put in a game like this, no. I don't think this was any kind of purposeful thing like that. And it's, in a way, yeah, they bent the knee. The developer bent the knee to the woke mob, the mob that wanted to make a stink about it today. But it happens. They did do it swiftly. It has been replaced. Twitter's actually kind of a little annoyed with it. If you take a look at some of these comments, people are making some pretty funny memes and pretty funny comments about it. And overall, it seems like people are just tired of this cancel culture and this pitchforking that we're seeing with these people that are getting in the gaming industry. And honestly, I thought last year was pretty bad with Hogwarts Legacy and the cancel woke mob that was trying to cancel people for that game. But this year, it seems like there's something in every single video game that is offending people, that's pissing people off, that's making them go and change it. And again, like I always say, if you give people an inch, they take a mile. Who knows what other types of stuff they're going to have to change in Stellar Blade at this point. This was just the beginning. You know that they're nitpicking it. They're looking at it with a fine-tooth comb. If they're really seeing hard R on a wall made out of graffiti and they're throwing that much of a stink, what else is next? Are they going to try to force them to change the way the protagonist looks? I really hope that they stick to their guns with that, because this day and age, it's refreshing to see a game that isn't caving into too much pressure. This was a little bit of a red flag for them, though. I'll give them that, but I'm not angry at all that this was changed, but this is a developing story. The main thing to take away here from is that the review scores for this game are doing fantastic. They're doing greater than I could have ever anticipated. Again, when you look at journalists and the things that they write and say leading up to certain games, you could definitely see that there's a bias against this game. And to see critic scores doing really well, I think that's refreshing and a sign of good things to come. So I'm personally looking forward to checking this game out, racist graffiti aside or not. And I hope you guys are. So let me know your thoughts down below on this situation. Do you think this was an intentional racial slur on the wall? I think it was just Jesus toast, in my opinion. But you know how journalists are and how these weird lefties are. Let me know down below. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.